Welcome everybody to the Kirby's Adventure Wii playthrough. In this part we have come to Raisin Ruins. Even though there's no raisins here by the looks of it, I am disappointed. Anyway, this is the second world of this game, and as you'd expect from any Nintendo game, this is the desert level. And with the desert level, we get a new ability, the whip ability. This basically lets Kirby grab things and whip things, and he can grab all the people and throw them in loads of different ways, like such. The whip ability is also like a grapple in the sense that it can grab items as well. I feel so sorry for that waddle just there. Whatever. Either way, the whip is actually a really helpful ability to use once you get used to it, but it's kind of hard for me to use, and the challenge that you get at the end of this world has the whip ability, and on the first go I had a nightmare on that challenge, so I don't have good memories with the whip ability, even though it is a pretty good ability. And again, it's very helpful to grab items through stuff like Gordos and stuff like that, so that's good. Also, it makes Kirby look like Indiana Jones, and if that's not good, what the hell is? Anyway, like I said, this is your same generic desert level that nearly every Nintendo game ever has as its second world. I don't get why they do, really, because I always lose interest in the desert level. They always tend to be the most bland levels out of any kind of Nintendo game that's like this. This isn't the first Kirby game to do it as well. I mean, Kirby 64 ended up having Rockstar, which is basically a desert level. And pretty much every Mario game ever has the desert level as well too. Yeah. And this is a mechanic that's become somewhat of a staple of the Kirby series with fire, you'll see in a minute. The hell's that Waddle Dee doing? Oh, Christ. I'll always love background stuff like that. Anyway, staple of the Kirby series is this little rope thing here. If you set fire to it with a fire ability, it'll start igniting the cannon right here, and if you get to the cannon before the rope does, it'll launch you up to a secret area. In this case, it gets us up to a gear. That's always nice. Some are harder than others. It definitely gets a bit harder towards the end of this. This is not the last time you'll see that trope. Again, there's another Waddle Dee just riding this thing. And we're into the needle ability now, which I still don't think is very useful, but aww, that poor Waddle Dee just got launched off there. Again, I always love background information, like background animations and stuff like that. I don't know why, it gives a game charm, you know? It makes a game feel like it's not just another generic, boring game that pretty much everyone does. Oh Christ! This is Indiana Jones, there's rocks chasing me! Meat. Now these scarfies right here, you can't actually swallow them. And as soon as you touch them in any way, shape or form, they turn into those, like, grey monstrous things. And eventually they'll blow up on you, as you might have heard back there. Now you have to keep on going there, because those pass-through platforms right there aren't actually pass-through from the top. You can pass through them at the bottom, but once you're on top of them, you can't go down. So, you have to make sure you stay down so you can get the gear. And, the shield on the spark ability, as broken as it is, it can't destroy these rocks, because these rocks aren't actually, like, destructible objects in any way. So, yeah. You can't exactly stream past this like you'd stream past any other obstacle with the spark ability. And no jokes now, I got lollies, I have to run through all of these things, and I've got the spark pig, who's your daddy now, bitches, woohoo! Oh, I've got electric and I'm a drugs and I'm really hyper and I think it's a sugar rush and I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, me, someone now, I want to milk now, I'm getting there's a bottle of water, I don't know, I'm gonna go for the door and that's the end of it. So after that craziness, we get the relaxing Parasol ability, which is basically an umbrella that blocks any overhead attacks, and it lets you just drift along the ground very, very slowly. It's a very nice ability, and it's very helpful as well when you know how to use it. You can throw enemies with it if you get close enough to them. You can use it as a shield from up, down or sideways, and you can twirl it. And overall, it's a very easygoing ability. It's very easy to use. You can even use it as a drill, and it's surprisingly powerful. It's a lot more powerful than you would expect your average umbrella. Anyway, this boss right here is Bonkers, and he gives you an ability that no other enemy actually gives you. He gives you the Hammer ability. Now, normally I would have to demonstrate this here, but I went through the Howl Room in the other episode, so I don't have to show it to you, because I already showed it to you there. But anyway, I might as well go over it again. This ability is overpowered. It's probably the most powerful ability in the game. More powerful than Spark. The only downside is Spark can let you hit people from far away, while Hammer is much more close quarters, unless you use the Hammer Throw. But if you use the Hammer Throw, you lose that Hammer forever. So, yeah, the Hammer is more of a risk-reward kind of thing. But if you know how to use it, you can, again, stream through pretty much everything as fast as you can. And there's our first minigame, the Ninja Dojo, which I shall showcase to you in a couple of episodes. Anyway, again, we get another new ability. And this is the best ability in the entire game! Sleep. You don't do a goddamn thing. That's all. Kirby just sleeps. It doesn't heal you or anything. It's just there to get in the way and annoy you. It's basically saying you can't just— oh, Christ. Swallow anything in your way. Anyway, this is the Water ability. Surprisingly, this is also a very new Kirby ability. It's never been in a Kirby game before. Why it's took them so long to make a water-based ability, I have no idea whatsoever. Especially considering they made ice, like, as one of the first abilities. Anyway, water is probably my favourite of the new abilities, because it's very useful. You can, literally, you can surf on top of water, which is brilliant. And you can attack people from above, and that Fountain Hover ability that I was using earlier. You can use the D-pad to direct where you go, so you can go up or down while you're doing the Fountain Hover. Which is, again, really helpful. I really like that ability. I ended up getting rid of it, though, to show you the difference between having it underwater and not having it underwater. Because when you have the water ability underwater, your water gun attack is, has much more range. And I think it's a bit more powerful, I don't really know. And, oh, another new ability. This is the Stone ability, which is more of a staple of the Kirby series. And Kirby actually has this in Smash Bros. Basically, you press the one button, you turn into a stone, and you're invincible until you press the one button again and turn back out of the stone. The problem is, you can't move as a stone, and whenever you, like, if you're in the air with the stone, you fall, like a rock. You can also do the rock uppercut, but that's the only other attack you get as a stone. Everything else involves you turning into a stone. You're just stuck there. You can slide down hills, and you can crush enemies, and it's very powerful, especially the Heavy Smash ability. But other than that, it's nothing much. It's just you're a stone, and you smash into things. It one-shots pretty much everything, and you're invincible while you're there. Problem is, you can't move, and those Waddle Dees are drowning. Oh. There's a lot of death in this game, you know? Considering how childish this looks, there is a lot of death going on here. A lot more than pretty much any other game that I've played with this kind of attitude to how it's played. Boom! Anyway, any door that you find with an orange star over it instead of a yellow star is a door that gives you a secret room, which is basically, it can either give you something that will give you 1-ups, or it can give you something that will give you a gear. So I suggest you check every orange door that you can find. And there's quite a lot of orange doors that you can find, so that's helpful. Like, for example, this orange door here has a gear. Like, over there. You have to figure out which one of these bomb ones you want to get rid of. So if you get rid of that other one, all these enemies will escape. Oh well. Yeah, like I said, the water ability is one of my favourite abilities in the game. And it's definitely my favourite out of the new abilities that you got here. And we have another warp star section. We don't actually get many of these. In fact, it just ends there. That water geyser is also a very helpful way of attacking people. And now right here, we got another super... Oh, Christ. We got another super ability section. You can tell this with any objects that can be destroyed by a super ability of any kind have glowing stars on the side of them. You see how these little faces have, like, glowing yellow stars on the side of them? That's basically telling you that there's going to be a super ability, which also tells you that there's going to be one of those black space levels. Which again, I really like. Anyway, this is the Flare Beam. Now the Flare Beam is basically you have a beam attack only overpowered as hell, and while you're using it, you're invincible. You can press the 2 buttons to cancel out, and you can direct it with the D-pad, and yeah. It's your super ability, it's a screen move, it destroys everything in your way. But there's actually a bit of skill involved in this. I mean, you will find later on in the game a couple of puzzles that involve trying to use precise movements with the Flare Beam to make sure you get to the next path that will let you get onto the thingies, the black space levels. But there you go. There's a black space level right there. Now they give you a lot of time to use these super abilities just to make sure that you don't end up running out of time before you do find the super, like, black space levels. Because if you run out of time before you get there, you'll have to skip the black space levels, and that means you'll be missing out half a level, and you'll also be missing, well, you'll basically be missing, like, two gears. Anyway, the gimmick with this black space level is there's water everywhere, and you have to swim through it as fast as you can. Now my strategy to get through this level is always stay as floating Kirby. Basically, whenever you're in the air, hold the 2 button and go into a body of water, because when Kirby's, like, floated like that, he will constantly float up to the top of the water because it's filled with air and stuff like that, he'll float. And that basically lets him get over all of the obstacles that are within the water, so it's very helpful to get through as well. Again, anything you can find that needs spitting out, spit it out. It's your average black space level. They're a bit boring at the start, but towards the end they start getting a lot more fun and hectic. That's something to enjoy. So yeah, once you go through the door, you get the ability stations again. I'm going to be picking Parasol because Parasol is awesome. And I'm going to be destroying a bird with an umbrella. This is a new Spear Doomer. This is Fire Spear Doomer. Again, it has the same kind of attack patterns where it flies into you, but it also has fire-based attacks where it'll charge into you cloaked in fire. The spears that it launches at you are made out of fire, and it's got like a couple of different moves to what the purple Spear Doomer would have. Unfortunately, it doesn't get to show you many of them because I completely owned it with a fucking umbrella. You know, as you do. But yeah, whenever you get to the end of the black space level, that generally means it's the end of the level. So once you get out of there, you should be able to find the next door, and then there's your goal game. So that's the end of this part, ladies and gentlemen. I shall see you guys in the next part of Kirby's Adventure Wait. God damn it, I missed it again.